Hello, welcome back to my channel, Goddess of Gore. My name is Vix and I like to talk about horror, thriller, fantasy and sci-fi books. Today I want to do something a little different because quite frankly I feel like poo. I want to do a book tag. I mean, obviously I've seen them before but I haven't been able to join in. And I was a little rushed with my vomiting, nausea, and I fell over the other day too, so that is nice. I feel like a little old lady, in fact. I've hurt my neck from whiplash of falling over. It is very funny. So forgive my appearance this week. Anyway, I saw this book tag on Literary Lily's channel. In her video, she does say that the original creator of this video, Headless Books, has taken down their channel. So I can't give them credit, but I will link Lily's channel below in the description box. I will say this book tag is very old and I haven't done any book tags on this channel, and I want to try and do some this year's, old, new, whatever. Just tag me in them, please. So this is a book tag about your reading rituals. When you have gotten to the end, the last page, and close that back cover, what happens next? Let's get on with the questions and find out. Question number 1. Do you keep a list of all the books you have read? Yes, I do. I log all of my reads on Storygraph, Goodreads, and for this year I have a copy of Core Pile from G on Book Roast. It's a spreadsheet ready for you to download and fill in yourself. And I have a book journal for the first time this year too. But having filled it all in for the year, I already hate it and want to start over. But I'm not going to waste a good notebook, so I'm stuck with it. Question number 2. What kind of stats do you record? So on Core Pile it asks lots of questions I don't normally use or fill in. But I normally track, and by that I mean last year, ownership, genre, publication date, age of the intended reader, the book length in pages, no matter how I've read it, and the format I read it in. I think that's it. But this year I'll be looking at gender of the author. Are they BIPOC? And were they translated books? Storygraph does keep track of the pacing and the moods, but since these are reader filled in, I'm not sure how they 100% of how I feel, so I'm not really bothered by those. I will usually mention if they lulled or were a slow burn or boring in my written reviews though. So question 3. Do you give a star rating? Yes, I do, but it's not formulaic, it's more of a feeling. I know people who have rating systems based on a variety of aspects of the book, such as characters, writing styles, world building, things like that, and add them all up at the end. But I'm more of a, it would be a 5, but I took off half a point for this, and a point for that, and a point for this. And I will say that I do not really like the whole stars that Goodreads has. I much prefer the halves and quarters that Storygraph offers, but I don't think I've ever given a quarter of a star. That's for the formula people, I think. And the spreadsheet I'm using gives halves too, so that's nice. Question 4, do you review books? Also, yes, I used to only do reviews on Goodreads, but this year I've transferred all of my data onto Storygraph, which honestly balls up all of my reading data for 2022, because I was using Storygraph to track the format of my books. So now it looks like I've read twice as many books. So that didn't work out very well. But luckily I do have half of a year of stats and pie charts already from my stats videos in the past, so it's only 6 months that I've got to go through. So yes, I do review on both of those, and if it was a gifted book from NetGalley, I review on there as part of their terms. I send those reviews to, I think I normally only ask for Waterstones and Amazon, so I do wish that I could send it to other booksellers that I use in the UK, such as WH Smith and Blackwell's, but they don't have reviews on their websites for some reason. I don't know what that's about. So I don't know where else to put them. Oh, and obviously I tell all of you lot in my reading wrap-ups, don't I? Although I probably talk a bit more about them on here because I don't give massive reviews in written form, but on here I could honestly talk about the book chapter by chapter and give out spoilers. and I'd be terrible in those live book discussion videos because I'd spoil it on the first sentence. I'm rubbish at not spoiling a book, I have to admit. That's why I have to cut my videos so much, aside from my nervous stutter, that is. I did actually get a really angry message once from someone about a book I'd reviewed on Instagram, so I don't do that. I don't do that anymore on there because I'm scared that I'm going to get shouted at again. And then a part of me thinks, well, I'm a bloody 47-year-old woman and I'll bloody well do what I want. Well, thank you. But I still don't do it. I'm scared. Anyway, back to the questions. Number 5, where do you put the finished book? If it's an ebook, I obviously keep it on my e-reader and it will stay on there until the day I ever can't add any more books. So it just gets marked as read and stays there. But physical books, I keep them if they're over 3 stars, which, as I've said before, I'm a very generous star giver. So that does mean I get to keep most of my books. But I am going to have to get rid of some soon because honestly, my shelves are out of control. I have my enormous bookshelves in the living room, and then I have more shelves in 2 bedrooms, and I have this little one over here, and I have another one over there. And I have all of my books in storage as well, which have got to be coming out soon because we have to downsize our storage so that we can save some money because money, you know. So I do own a lot of books. I send all of my books that I'm not keeping to charity shops. I don't sell them because I pick them up so often from charity shops that I like to return the favour. And if a book is valuable in a collector kind of way, I wouldn't get rid of it anyway. We don't have Pango, I think that's what it's called in America, or anything like that. So we just have eBay or places like Music Magpie, which offer you pennies for the books. So I'd much rather give them away anyway, just because I'm lazy and I'd have to post them out for a start. But the shelf system I have, so generally good books tend to go downstairs. My very favourites or my nostalgic favourites go in the bedrooms, and then the books I want to talk about in my wrap-ups or TBRs are usually on there, or if they're books that portray the genre of the channel, they're on there as well. And in the little one in the corner of the room, they're my kids' books from their childhood, and I've narrowed them down a bit, so I have a small collection of the ones I've read to them when they were little children, or the ones that sum their personalities up to me. This is going to be a long book tag video, isn't it? I didn't expect it to be this deep and meaningful. Oh, I forgot to say that if I really enjoyed the ebook, I will usually get a physical copy so I can make other people read it, because I'm one of them people who go, here, read this, here, read this, you should read this. So I have books in all of the formats most of the times. And then sometimes I'll think I just want to throw all of my books away and just keep an e-reader on the shelf, because what is the point in keeping these books? But then I look at my books and the battered copies and I think, nah, I like books. I like books. I like books. Number 6, how do you pick your next book? So obviously I have my monthly TBR already picked out, and that's usually something that includes planned readathons, read-alongs and that kind of group activity thing. And then I have my enormous backlist of want-to-reads, which include public book clubs from places like Radio 2 Book Club, Richard and Judy, Reese Witherspoon, as well as everything recommended on here, BookTube, Reddit groups and Discord. It's just an overwhelming thing, TBRs, I know. And then I have all the books I've requested on NetGalley too, which I always feel obligated to read, but I shouldn't, and here's why. That is not a job. I don't get paid to do it. I ask for them because I want to read them and because I think I will enjoy them, and in turn I can tell you why I think you might like them. But I do miss the days of taking myself to the library or the bookshop and just picking one off the shelves, just because. I'm currently drowning in books and it's hard to pick the next one out when you have so much choice. And I'm a bit like a magpie. I'm saddened to say, and I will just ignore all of the ones in front of me and go for a new and shiny one. Fickle, I know, but aren't we all a little bit like that? Question 7. Do you have any reading rituals when you finish a book? And yes, I do. I obviously have my emotional reactions, such as a cry or a laugh or a sigh or a throw it across the room and slam it down, whatever the book made me feel. But I will always walk away from it and make a cuppa. I then usually go to my thinking spot, aka the loo, and think about what I would rate it. Then think about the sum of it. So what I'm going to put in my short written review. And then I don't always review it right away, but I do mark it finished on all of my trackers, just so I can put a date to it. And something I have recently started is I pick up my next book and read a chapter. I can't remember exactly who I first heard say it will stop book hangover, but lots of people recommend doing this, so I do it. Because I really used to get bad book hangover and I couldn't read anything for days. So the last question, question 8, who do I tag? Honestly, I want to tag everyone. It's my first time doing it, so you're all tagged. If you have watched this and you have a YouTube or Instagram, do this tag and link me so I can see it. But I will tag people who I know actually like to do book tags on here, so I'm hoping they haven't already done this one, because as I said, it is an oldie. So the booktubers who I see doing tags are Leslie from Nerdy Narrative, Crystal from Fibre Artsy, Ollie from Criminolly, Michelle from Michelle's Melancholia, and Katrina, if she still does book tags, I'm not sure. But anyway, Katrina from Katrina Brown. As I said, if you watch this, consider yourself tagged. I couldn't name everyone. This video was already too long. I don't even have time for a book quote. Make good book choices, my friends, and I will see you all soon. Until next time, bye bye.